Hey guys, welcome back to Just a Girly Liking Wrestling. I'm Sahar. This is officially episode number 2, and I'm really excited. The first episode did better than I anticipated. I think I got 40 people who were listening to it, which is 39 more people than like I anticipated. So I'm very lucky that I got a lot of support and a lot of friends and even some friends who don't even watch wrestling or even care about wrestling, and they listen to it because they just wanted to be supportive. So I love you guys. Thank you. But yeah, so episode 2, like I said, I'm really excited to be doing this podcast. I finally have people who would listen to my wrestling takes, even though some people don't like my wrestling takes. I'm still going to say them anyway. And hopefully my microphone is better and my edits won't be so choppy. Like I said, this is the first time I'm doing a podcast. So I'm really trying to figure out everything as I go. But yeah, episode 2. And I think I'm going to title it AEW's WrestleDream because I think that's mostly what I'm going to talk about in this episode. It was on Saturday. And listen, I've been accused of being an AEW hater, but people shut my ass the hell up because that was an incredible, incredible pay-per-view. Um, I there were some duds. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and say I thought every match was great. It was not, but 90% of the pay-per-view was perfection. I didn't have a complaint. For me, the pay-per-view was Takeshita, Osprey, and Ricochet. For me, that was the main event. I thought that was an incredible match. Uh, I was glued to my screen when I was watching it. I thought Takeshita finally deserves that title. Seeing him as a heel would be interesting. I don't think the fans would really allow him to be a heel. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out because he's so loved and beloved by fans. So that match was perfection. I don't think anyone can really criticize it. Actually, that's not true. Certain WWE haters, not WWE haters, AEW haters, uh, would criticize it, calling it too acrobatic and it's not real wrestling. I dare you to do what they do. I had a little issues with the match, but in the sense of when you do a finisher, right? You do something deadly. I don't want to see you get up right away. That's a thing that I just don't like seeing. I think when you do like a punishing move, please don't get up right away. Just lay there. Pretend like it did get you at least. That's the only criticism I have with that match was that it would be a finisher and then immediately up. It didn't look damaging at all. Um, that's the only criticism I have on the match. I thought it was personally phenomenal. Like I said, Takeshita winning, long overdue. Uh, the also match that I really liked was Willow Nightingale versus Mariah May. Willow Nightingale is a star. I have enjoyed watching her. I've enjoyed watching her trajectory into stardom, how over she is with fans, and fans just genuinely love her. Willow Nightingale just seems like the most nicest girl on the planet, and I love her, and I think she's incredibly talented, and I can't wait to see her to be a champion one day. It's going to be really interesting to see her wrestle Mercedes down the line. It would be an interesting matchup. Mariah May was incredible in that match as well. Um, since Mariah May won the title against Timeless Tony, she's kind of not fallen to the wayside because she's still a champion, but she hasn't been as impactful as I wanted her to be on television. She just doesn't feel like she's a champion. She kind of just feels like she's just a wrestler there, you know, which I don't want because what she did with Tony was so incredible. She was a standout star. People were excited to see what she was doing next week. And I think since she got the title, we don't really see that Mariah. So it was good to see a little glimmer of that with the match with Willow. So I really love that. They're both stars, just incredible stars. There's no denying it. They have such bright futures, and I can't wait to see what happens next with them. I'm hoping Willow Nightingale gets a title shot and becomes a champion because, like I said, so incredibly talented. And also, little pause on the pay-per-view to talk about that presser. It was pretty gross to me that not one reporter would have a question ready for Mariah. I think just like a question, like the most basic of question of what do you see next for yourself? Who would you like to face? How do you think this match prepared you for the next one? Because Willow's so talented. There's so many things you could have asked. And for me, it was so disgusting that they wouldn't have one question for a female champion. It's like you don't care about women's wrestling, and they made it very clear in that presser. And I just want to touch how disgusting it was. And I also want to say Mariah handled that with such grace and class and called those motherfuckers out. And it was so satisfying to see. So yeah, that was pretty gross that no one had a question for her. But yeah, what other matches were there? There was the Jack Perry match that I skipped. And no, I didn't skip it because I'm a CM Punk stan. Well, it's kind of wise. No, I'm just kidding. Um, I skipped it because Jack Perry is not interesting enough for me. And I know that's really fucked up. People get really upset when I say that. People get really mad when I say that Jack Perry will never be over. Mark my words. I'm going to tell you this now. Jack Perry will never be over. No matter how much AEW tries to force him down our throats. He is stale on a microphone. He feels hollow to me. Hollow. And I know people go back to that one promo he did backstage that was decent. I need to see that every week. Okay? I need to see that every week. Jack Perry can't deliver on promos, and he's decent in the ring at best. Like I've said before to my friends who actually like wrestling, I have said that he's fighting a losing battle. That when that security footage got released, they buried Jack Perry. Oh my god, that rhymes. They buried him. Okay. That security footage made him look like a nobody. It made him look like a bitch, to be honest, actually. And that's really fucked up because why would you want that for him? No matter who he wrestles, where he wrestles, people are going to chant CM Punk. You'll get that one asshole fan that will chant CM Punk. So for his entire career, he'll be aligned with CM Punk. Who would want their career to be aligned with someone who beat the fuck out of you? Not beat the fuck out of you, but choked you a little bit. Nobody would want that. Jack Perry's just struggling. Let's just say that. Jack Perry is struggling. The other matches that were going on that I did skip was, and no disrespect to Mark Briscoe, because I think he's insanely talented, I had to skip the Jericho match. It is incredibly hard for me to watch a Jericho match. Um, I find him too old. He's very Hulk Hogan like, and in a sense, Ric Flair like, not in terms of wrestling, but they don't know when to hang up their boots. You just let the younger generation have it. Okay? It's in good hands. Let the younger generation have it. Stop wrestling. Stop taking up the time. We I hope they weren't gonna make you the ROH champion. If they did, that would have been insane. But it's not a gimmick when people like boo him. It's because they actually are done with him. There's probably a big dip in ratings when Jericho comes on and that learning tree. Push Big Bill. Let's get it over with. Like, let Jericho just go. Just go. Watch wrestling go by. Maybe help people backstage, but don't be on TV anymore. Or pay-per-views, because it's a waste of fucking time. But I did skip that match. I'm happy that Briscoe won. So I saw, like I said, I saw the result on Twitter. I did not watch the match, but again, no disrespect to Mark. I love Mark Briscoe. The next match that I wanted to talk about a little bit was this one is this one got me a little hot. Was the Young Bucks versus Private Party, and I'll tell you why it got me hot. I thought the ending, the not the ending. I thought the outcome of the match was terrible. I thought Private Party should have won. Private Party has been in AEW. They have been AEW guys since day one. Two guys that have been incredibly loyal to AEW is Private Party. The reason I had a problem with the match was it felt very rushed, put together. I'm saying in terms of story of the two tag teams facing each other. I feel like there should have been way more of a build so the audience gets to know Private Party a little bit more. Private Party is barely on our screens, right? A lot of people, casual fans, probably don't know who Private Party is. AEW, like super fans or AEW fans who've been watching since the beginning, know who Private Party is. They're not on weekly television. They're not on pay-per-views like that. So, it's hard to really know who they are. And I think if they knew the Young Bucks and Private Party were going to face each other at WrestleDream, there should have been more of a build than 2 weeks, my personal opinion. But this was the part that really bothered me was, and again, I'm sure they all talked about it beforehand, what they were going to say. And the Young Bucks are the big bad EVP heels who, run the company, quote unquote. But I did not like them being called mid-carders. For me personally, it's a huge step back for Private Party. If we look at the tag team division right now in AEW, the bigger stars are the Outrunners, Young Bucks, and FTR. Private Party is getting a little lost in that mix, right? So when you call them mid-carders, you better act on it and next week have them in a match with you for the title again or build into something more. Don't drop this. And that's what I feel like they're going to do. They're going to call them mid-carders. They did call them mid-carders. And then we won't see Private Party for a while after that. And I think it loses that momentum. And I think it hurts Private Party more than it helps them. Because it made Nick and Matt look like pieces of shit, in my opinion. Again, that is my opinion. And I know wrestling bros on Twitter are going to say, well, it's just part of the story. It's an underdog story. Private Party's going to rise up and get those titles. When? Tell me when. The tag team division is kind of packed right now with FTR and the Outrunners. The Outrunners have an incredible push right now. We all know the Outrunners are going to get that title. We all know that. So don't call them mid-carders and then push them to the side. That's my personal opinion on that part. And also, I do think it was time for Nick and Matt to lose the titles. Their heel characters of the EVPs are not landing. I think people are over it. People don't care as much. People have kind of laughed it off. It's not funny. Listen, if you've seen one Young Bucks match, you've seen them all. They're pretty much the same. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. It's just there's no level of unpredictability anymore. And with this EVP gimmick, it's just not landing. No one thinks of you as a threat. No one is worried about the Young Bucks. They've made Okada into a joke with this whole EVP faction. I don't enjoy it. And I think we need a new face. I think we need something more refreshing. You guys claim you're these pillars of AEW and professional wrestling. Well, give someone else that title, please. Let them have the title. Let them run with it. Let them grow with it. In my personal, everything I'm saying is in my personal opinion when I talk about this. On the topic of tag team divisions, Mason and Mansoor, I did have a little bit of a pop when Rico showed up. When Rico showed up with those mutton chops, man, it took me back to my childhood. Because his theme was the one that really stuck with me as a kid. Because it was, you look... Oh, God. I'm so sorry. Please don't click off the video. I will never sing again. I promise. I'm so sorry. I tortured you all. I'm so sorry. I won't do it again. But anyway, yeah, I loved him showing up. I thought it was I thought it was cute for their characters. I thought it made a lot of sense. And to see him and Billy Gunn together, it was also really fun to see. So I did have like a huge chuckle with that. So it was really nice. And then we have Jay White versus Hangman Adam Page. Again, a match that I thought should have had more build. I thought it was an incredible match, okay? I genuinely really enjoyed that match. I will tell you my biggest problem was I personally believe that Hangman should not have lost. Only because he's coming off of a huge win with Swerve. I mean, that feud was insane. After the Swerve match, I didn't really know what direction they were going with the Hangman character. Like, again, people are like, you don't get storytelling. Hangman's losing his mind. He's losing it all. Yeah, I understand. But for what purpose? What purpose? What is he trying to get? Is he trying to get the AEW World Championship? Like, I need to know what's happening. Him just losing his mind doesn't do anything. Why is he facing Jay? What's going on there? I just personally think it should have had more of a build, and I get it. Jay probably needed that win way more than Hangman. And I believe, I do agree with that. But I do think with how Hangman was going, I think Hangman needed the win a lot more. Um, Speaking though of like kind of returns, was seeing Adam Cole come back, which was really nice to see, and MJF coming back as well. Uh, it was funny to see Adam Cole back and MJF in a ring because they completely dropped the devil gimmick. So Adam Cole's now a babyface, which I mean, it didn't not make sense because we all knew he was gonna probably come back as a baby face, but it is funny how we're like completely ignoring the devil gimmick of it all. But it was good to see both of them, and I can't wait to see what comes of this. You know, I think MJF is back full time. I think he wrapped filming Happy Gilmore. I'm just assuming. I'm not 100% sure. So we have something to look forward to. I just hope the story makes sense, and I hope it's good. I'm rooting for those two because I love both of them. Uh, and then there was a swerve with MVP and Shelton Benjamin. It was really nice and rewarding to see Shelton Benjamin get the flowers he rightfully deserves. I grew up watching Shelton Benjamin. I thought Shelton Benjamin was so underutilized. What this man did in the ring was undeniable. I grew up watching Shelton Benjamin. I thought he was amazing. And for him to get the respect and Swerve saying, like, you paved the way for Black wrestlers, I think that was incredible to do. And it kind of like just seeing Black excellence in the ring and having that representation was really nice to see. So that was great. The only thing I kept thinking about was like, okay, now, so where's Bobby Lashley? Is he coming? Is he not coming? Stuck in traffic? What's going on? Because like it's very fairly obvious what they're leading up to, and they're leading up to a Hurt Business reunion, and I'm sure it's going to be the Hurt Business against Swerve. So again, I'm looking forward to those things. So I think now we're going to the insane main event. That main event. So there's a lot of discourse online about the main event, and for me, I thought it was incredible. In a weird way, there was like this looming feeling of Bryan Danielson losing. Um, he did say in interviews, you know, his neck isn't in the best shape since the Ospreay match. He was still hurting, and there was all these aspects. And I think we all knew if he lost this match, he was done, at least done for full-time wrestling. And I'm going to be completely honest when I say this, that I don't know if Bryan Danielson can be a part-time wrestler. I think he loves it so much that I don't know if he would be able to do it part-time. I think he would either want to fully commit to it or not at all. And, you know, he was always planning on leaving. We all remember the promise he made to his children that he would leave. So I don't know where it would be going. But the match was incredible. Like, it was really hard for me to watch. It was only hard for me to watch because you know he's hurt. So like any move that gets made, you're like, oh, did that add more injury? Like, is he okay? Like, will this be the end? Like, wrestlers put their bodies on the line for us, and I just want them to retire or leave on their own terms, not because of an injury or they can't do it anymore. Just on their own terms, they leave. And I know that's really difficult, but again, that match was incredible. And then when Mox hit the pin with the 1, 2, 3, I think everyone in that arena was like stunned into silence. I think it was shocking and jarring for people to see, like, to actually like kind of have it like settled, like, oh, he's done. Bryan Danielson's done. Like, he can't do this anymore. And, Marina came into the ring, and, we have Yuta in there as well. And Yuta turns heel on Bryan Danielson with the bag over the face. And Darby Allin comes out trying to make the save, and he's outnumbered. It was a great ending for me personally. With Bryan Danielson getting out of the ring in a stretcher, I think that's how he wanted to go out. I think that's how he wanted to go out. I don't think he wanted to be in a ring, make a speech, another speech, the second speech of his career about how he's not going to wrestle anymore. That probably would have killed him. Why would you make the most hard, like, why would you do that to yourself? Why would you go out there and make the hardest speech of your life again? I think he wanted to go out the way he did and make Mox and that whole crew the biggest heels in the business, and to set up the story for Darby to take on Mox and that crew and have the AEW locker room versus that faction. And I think it was well done. There is a but, and I'm sorry. The but is I don't trust AEW with this story. I don't trust AEW will execute this story the way it should be. We already once had a failed quote unquote invasion story when the EVPs tried to take over with Jack Perry and Okada and the Bucks. We all remember what happened with Tony Khan, the neck brace. It was a thing, right? In like 2 weeks, that entire story was dropped with no explanation, nothing. They just moved on. How can I trust AEW to take something this good and actually run with it? I genuinely worry. AEW has done great storytelling with Timeless Tony and Mariah, Swerve and Hangman, but that's pretty much it as of late. So I'm really hoping this angle of Darby and the AEW locker room versus Jon Moxley and his crew, again, very NWO versus WCW. Darby is Sting. I don't know if Jon is Hogan. I hope Moxley's not Hogan, but we'll see how this plays out. And I can't wait for Wednesday's Dynamite. And I can't believe I'm saying that. That's how you know it was a good pay-per-view, because I haven't been excited about a Dynamite in a really long time. They have made me excited to watch Dynamite and actually tune in. So I think this is a really good thing that they're doing. I just don't want them to drop the ball. So we'll see how it goes on Wednesday night. The pay-per-view overall was really successful in my opinion. There was a lot of discourse online about the Bryan stuff, but I personally thought it was a great pay-per-view. There was wonderful things. It was really funny for me to see Tony Khan miss the press conference. I think he was kind of dodging questions, maybe because he is under a lot of controversy right now with what's going on with the Lucha Brothers, the whole Jimmy Jacobs leaving situation, the discourse that's been online. I thought it was kind of cowardly for him to skip the presser. I think genuinely he was avoiding a lot of tough questions that would be coming his way. So that was kind of interesting for me to see, because like people praise Tony Khan like crazy. But, like, to me, he's very Vince-like in business tactics as of late with the Lucha Bros stuff. But that, again, in my opinion, we'll deep dive on that Tony Khan in another episode. But yeah, it was odd for me to see him not, you know, not be there. I'd have Tony Schiavone there instead. Yeah, and I think that wraps it up for the WrestleDream pay-per-view. But I did want to talk about two Pro Wrestling Illustrated just did their women's 250 ranking, and Timeless Tony was number one. And I just have to say, rightfully fucking so. She carried that women's division on her back. Her character, if you wrote it down, her character shouldn't have worked because it's a little too gimmicky, right? The way she did it, the way she handled it, the way she carried it, it was perfection. She made it so fascinating, so interesting. I really think she elevated the women's division in AEW. And that's kind of crazy to say when Mercedes is there, but I'm looking forward to a Tony match, a timeless Tony match, and I'm looking forward to a Mercedes match. Let's just say that. I think she is a true star of the AEW women's division. So again, rightfully deserved number one spot. And I can't wait to see her come back and wrestle more people. I can't wait to see her. Really want to see her wrestle Willow Nightingale. That would be a dream match for me to see. But yeah, it was kind of crazy not to see Mercedes in the top 10. It's kind of wild, and she's champion. I personally haven't enjoyed a Mercedes match pay-per-view wise in a while. The Britt Baker match was a hard watch. Her matches after that have been hard. She's kind of just been there. I know she has a match this Wednesday, so we'll see how that one goes. Mercedes has, like I said, it hasn't been the Mercedes that I'm used to seeing. And I hope maybe it's just shaking off that ring rust and getting back to full-time work. But I'm really hoping for great things for Mercedes because she's so incredibly talented. And we all know she's a star. Like, we've seen what she can do in the ring. Just maybe not have the microphone as much. Let's cut the promos and just, I think that's what's kind of holding me back with her. But yeah, so I'm hoping for good things in the AEW women's division because they're in really good hands. So yeah, guys, thank you for listening. This was episode 2. Hopefully I get 41 listeners now. But yeah, this was really fun. I will be back next week. And thank you again, guys, for listening to Just a Girly Talking Wrestling. Bye.